Take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the wily coyote and how many of them are in the Ottawa region, and the things you should know, especially if you walk your dogs in the woods. Stay tuned. It's the question, like, are coyotes getting braver? Like, how many are out there living amongst us? And if you encounter one, what should you do? Bill Dowd is with Skedaddle Wildlife Control, and he's on the line with me now. Bill Dowd, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So what do you make of Audrey's story?
Obviously very, very heart-wrenching. Obviously coyotes are the largest predator that we find in any urban environment. So they are out there, and, depending on the size of the city would dictate the numbers. Research in the U.S., in a city like Chicago, has about anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 coyotes. So if you take those numbers and look at the population of Ottawa, you would expect there's maybe anywhere from 300 to 400 in the Ottawa region. And
they're living in in our neighborhoods, or are they leaving during the day and going and spending a night in a wooded area? Where are they?
They're opportunistic, like any urban wildlife we deal with, whether it's raccoons, squirrels, skunks, birds, bats. They could live underneath sheds, porches, decks, you name it. They can be anywhere within the urban environment.
They could be under your deck and you wouldn't know it?
Well, you would know it. We've had calls where people phone us with a mother coyote and her pups living underneath her deck, so that is a possibility. And
if they're living amongst us, they're more adapted to how we live? And
well, yes, they're like all urban wildlife. Their numbers are actually thriving because we're providing them the den sites by not putting screen or animal proofing our structures. So we're giving them the den sites. Plus, they're great at controlling the rodent population. Their main diet consists of rats and mice, so they're helping keep our rodent population in check.
Are they getting braver?
Well, they are, but a lot of times when they are, frequently seen in a neighborhood is because somebody in that neighborhood may be feeding them. So they become used to humans being as a food source to them, and they're approaching humans looking for that food source.
But are people feeding them deliberately, or is it just leaving garbage out and things like that?
It could be a combination of both, that people are putting their garbage out, they're getting into the garbage, or they're actually feeding the animals. And, of course, anytime, with smaller mammals, such as a smaller dog, coyotes can be aggressive. Dogs, keeping them on leashes. If you see coyotes, picking up your dog to protect it, not turning and running from a coyote, making yourself look bigger, facing it eye to eye, and slowly walking backwards, making a loud noise could help deter those animals.
So they are pack animals, but do you typically then see them like 2 or 3 together, or can they be solo out there?
They can be solo out there at times, but when the mother is with the young pups in the spring, that's a lot of times where you'll see 3 or 4 of them together, and that's the mother taking them out for walks, teaching them how to be wary of humans. They're typically more afraid of us than we are of them, they're fears and them attacking humans and pets are very few and far between. Obviously, we have an experience here that's very sad, but these experiences don't happen very often.
So, are they typically out at night?
They can be, but they can be active during the daytime as well. But they can forage for food at all times of day or night.
So, if you're out for a walk, what should you be looking for?
Obviously, if you're walking through a wooded area or a park area, knowing your surroundings, keeping your pets on a leash. If they're a smaller dog, being aware that if you do see a strange animal, picking it up and protecting it. And of course, maybe carrying some loud noise-making device that if you see these animals, you can make a loud noise trying to scare them away.
If they do, if one does happen to grab your dog, any advice? You can't fight this off, can you?
No, I wouldn't. They are wild animals, so yeah, you shouldn't insert yourself in the middle of that fight. Just obviously being aware of your surroundings at all times.
So Ms. McAndrews wanted to put signs up. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing signs. Is it? So it's just something we should all be aware of, that there are coyotes living out there, then they're going to be in a bushy area and sometimes in around where you live.
Yeah, I think it's a great. We have worked with different municipalities across the country on getting signs out in areas so people are aware of that, because I think most people don't realize that these animals are in our urban centers with us and flourishing. And as the rodent and population continues to increase, these animals are going to continue to thrive in our urban centers.
I saw a dog once I thought was a coyote. And then I saw a coyote I thought was a dog. Is there a good way to identify them, that like things that when you look at them automatically, oh, that's not a dog?
Because I understand they can look very similar, so it's just checking their behavior. Typically they're more lower, slung down to the ground as they're running, but just being aware that they could be out there. Obviously smaller dogs are not going to be a coyote, but if you go online and take a look, you get some real distinct features that are prevalent in coyotes.
And if you walk in an area every day, there's scat, I guess, and footprints, so that might be little indicators that you've got other company.
Right. Their scat is similar to dogs. And once again, these animals are in every park in North America. They're in, New York City in Central Park. They're in Stanley Park in Vancouver. They're just part of our urban landscape nowadays.
Well, it's good to know, and it's good to reiterate. If we've got animals and you're out walking, just be aware that they are going to be somewhere.
Exactly. Same with raccoons and skunks and opossums. We share our city, especially cities that have a lot of green space, such as Ottawa, with a wide variety of species of animals. And whether it's nighttime or daytime, they're out there foraging for food. And just obviously teaching your children that never approach a stray wild animal, just like you teach them not to approach a stray dog or cat. Educating our children goes a big way as well.
Bill Dowd, I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There you go. They're with us, folks, those wily coyotes, and they can cause some trouble, so be aware. Bill Dowd is with Skedaddle Wildlife Control. We're going to take a break after that. Should therapy for those living with autism spectrum disorder be deemed an essential